Clear Efficiency, helping you get clear on the efficiency of your home. Okay, Kim and Larry, I am up in the attic space right now, just taking a quick look around, seeing what it is that you guys have and seeing how it is that we might best be able to help you out here. So first and foremost, what we're looking at are the types of insulation that you have here on your attic floor. Right now, you guys have 3 types making up this attic, okay? On the top here, we've got the yellow version of the fiberglass type of insulation. Not a terrible type of insulation, but the biggest difference between this stuff and the newest version is that this stuff is still very irritational. If it were to get on your skin, it still has that itchy irritational factor to it. But there's really no dust involved with this particular type of insulation. At the very, very bottom, closer to the attic floor, so closer to what you guys had originally. Where am I here? You guys have what is called as cellulose. This is an opposite version. This is a very dusty version of insulation, so much that it is no longer allowed in schools and hospitals because it's known to set off allergies like no other. Okay, essentially it's just a ground up newspaper mixed with a bunch of chemicals to make it so that it's not as easily flammable. Okay, but it is a very dusty version of insulation. And then mixed in sporadically, you also have this batting, which is another version of the fiberglass type, but more like pillows, where it's laid out in individual pieces. Again, not a terrible type of insulation everywhere it's touching the attic floor, but the only thing when it comes to batting is that it is perfect rectangles. They do need to be cut to fit, and sometimes the cuts aren't perfect and they sit up like this off of the attic floor, or there's spaces between them, and anywhere where it's raised up off the attic floor is an area where it's not actually doing its job. So that's an area where energy can easily pass and get up as you pay for heat. During the wintertime, your heat easily gets up through those areas, and during the summertime, your heat easily moves back down through those same areas. Okay, so that brings me to my second point, which is your levels. Right now, you have a little bit of fluctuation, but even in for the most part here. Okay, right now you're coming in right around an R19 mark. You can see R19 right here. In some spots, it's piled up a little bit closer to about an R25, but then in a lot of areas, it's gone down down here closer to about an R11. So R19 on average. Just to put that in perspective, bare minimum code, all new homes are being built with at least R38, 13.25 inches. That's right here, okay? So you guys literally have half of what's required in any new home right now, okay? And then the very most insulation that you would put in the home for the maximum effective insulation is 20 inches at R60. Anything above this is what we call diminishing returns, which means you can literally double up to 40 inches. It won't do anything more than it will right here at this 20. But at the very least, we certainly want to get you guys to code. So pretty simple on that. Now, insulation is done in increments. So the smallest increment is 19. The next is 30, 38, so on and so forth. So again, if you guys want to have this removed, that's perfectly fine, but there's no law saying that you have to have it removed. So if you do want to keep it, you guys have R19 and the goal is R38, we would come in and blow another R19 over the top of what you have and get you guys to R38, okay? Wherever possible, if you are going up anything higher than R38, wherever possible, these straps are an antiquated way of doing duct systems. So this lets me know it's an older duct system anyways. The newer way of doing ducts is no longer keeping them suspended. It's having them as low to the attic floor as possible and then covered in insulation as much as possible. That's called a deep bury, so that no matter what the efficiency rating is of the duct, you're improving that efficiency rating by deep burying it and covering it in insulation. So if you're doing anything higher than R38, they deep bury as much as they can, and then you do get a true deep bury at 20 inches. So that's the reason that people go to 20 inches, is because at that point, all the duct are now down on the attic floor, and for the most part, they're all covered up as best as they can with insulation. Okay. Now, you guys had mentioned a couple things. One is the removal. And second is air sealing. So I can easily show you guys an option to remove. Like I mentioned to you, there is no law that says that you have to remove, but the obvious benefits of removing is that we will be able to get rid of all this insulation, all this old insulation, this dusty insulation, and clean everything up. So with the removal process, we're going to disinfect everything, and then we're going to seal the gaps, which brings me to my next point, which is our air sealing. Okay, so coming into all penetrations here is how we air seal. So we'll do it sectionally. We'll see anything that goes down to the attic, that's plumbing, that's can lights, duct work, anything of that nature, any penetration, and we're going to want it sealed up. Okay, so just so I can explain, hot air rises and it stacks on your ceiling. So we're talking wintertime. You're paying for heat stacks on the ceiling and looks for avenues to escape and get into the attic space. That does not help you, that does not benefit you, that costs you money. And then during the summertime, that process reverses, which means the attic gets really, really hot, and then it forces heat and that dusty type of insulation back down into the home, right? Causing you guys to have to breathe that in and or condition the home from that heat. So by sealing up those gaps, that's going to do two things. One, it's going to improve your air quality, so no more attic dust getting back into the home, right? And then for two, it's going to definitely improve your bills because now your HVAC unit is not running nearly as much. Okay, so this is where ductwork meets the attic floor. I'll take you to a spot just behind it which has a little bit better of a visual, and this is the can light. And this would apply to all can lights. Okay, now they move the insulation away from this can light because the insulation is the dusty type, but notice this gap that's around this can light. They didn't do anything wrong here. They cut the hole, right? And they put the unit down like they're supposed to, but inevitably there's a big gap all the way around the unit, allowing for all of your air to move up, but also this heat and dust to move back down, right? And so again, what we do is come to all these areas and seal them up with the foam, improve air quality and improve energy efficiency. So really, really simple on that. Okay, so as I see it, guys, I see three options here for you. Option number one is just blowing the insulation over the top of what you have. Pretty simple, and call it a day. It'll be the least expensive option, but that'll be it. There'll be no removal. Okay, option number two, again, I'll keep what you have. I'll seal up the gaps, and then I'll blow the insulation over the top of what you have. This allows you guys to utilize what's up here, but again, you're not removing it, you're just utilizing it. You've got the gap sealed so it can't come back down. That could be an option for you. Okay, and then finally I'll give you guys the option of what is called RSB. That stands for remove, seal, blow. So we'll move everything, we'll disinfect the entire space, we'll seal up all the gaps on the attic floor, and then we blow back in R38, 13.25 inches, okay, or more if you guys are looking to go a little bit higher. But as I see it right now, that's pretty much it. That's just a few options for you guys to consider. My professional opinion, sooner rather than later. Thank you.